Hey everyone, I'm Vanessa. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, I am a style and lifestyle blogger from San Francisco, and I developed chronic urticaria in 2018. I have since started a series sharing my journey along with tips and tricks with how I manage my skin issues. I recently took a poll asking what kind of video you wanted to see next, and the majority of people voted for an updated chronic urticaria video. A question that I commonly get asked is, do you still have chronic urticaria? Are you still dealing with these issues? And the answer is yes, but they are not as intense as they were in the beginning or as consistent. So today I'm going to be sharing a long overdue video about the lifestyle changes I have made since developing chronic urticaria. I would say this list of tips are some of the biggest changes that I've made that have helped me keep my flare-ups at bay and to help them go away faster when they do happen. So I hope that they're able to help you as well and give you a little insight to how I successfully manage my skin. The first thing on the list today is a low stress lifestyle. So when I first developed chronic urticaria, I was still in college full-time and I was working part-time along with managing my blog. And I was very busy, had a lot going on, and I had to really take a step back and focus on my health, which was really hard as a senior in college. And at the time I was growing a lot on social media, specifically on Instagram. So it was like something that I was continuously working towards. When I started having these flare-ups, it really stopped me from going to class. It stopped me from shooting as much content as I was used to. So having to take a step back, it almost felt as if the brakes were coming to a screeching halt, and it was definitely a reality check, but a reality check that I needed to focus on healing. And I definitely made a lot of sacrifices in order to move in a direction where I had a slower lifestyle. I had to explain to my teachers that I was going through health issues and get some doctor's notes so that I could take the stress away from going to school with a flared up face, along with getting extensions for assignments whenever needed so that I could allow my body to rest. When it came to my blog, at this time, I had a lot of my first paid campaigns and it was a really exciting time. So it was kind of ironic that I started having these skin issues. It was very hard to explain to certain brands that I needed extensions to certain deadlines. So a big part of me maintaining a low stress lifestyle is just cutting out unnecessary things that bring me stress. And the reason why it's so important for me to maintain a slow, low stress lifestyle is because when you are having a flare-up and you're going through extra stressors, like maybe it's certain situations that bring you stress or certain people that bring you stress, and you're constantly dealing with that, it raises your adrenals. So it was really important for me to just cut out anything unnecessary. That way I could more easily keep my peace. And especially this past year with quarantine life, I feel like more people are becoming more in tune with themselves and learning how to stay home and all of that. And I feel like this is something that I started doing when I got sick. In a lot of ways, my life hasn't changed a lot this past year during COVID because I already chose to stay home more, chose to rest, chose to do less things that weren't really necessary or like conducive to my health. The second change that I made when I developed chronic urticaria was transitioning to a plant-based low-fat diet. When I first got sick and first started developing all of these issues with my skin, I was actually a vegetarian, and I had wanted to become plant-based. It was something that was in the back of my mind for a while. I had done a good amount of research on the benefits of a plant-based diet, but I just wasn't quite ready for a long time. So once I started having health issues, it really pushed me in that direction. And the reason is because, based on my research, I found that animal products were very inflammatory, and I felt that my skin issues were a reflection of some imbalances or inflammatory issues I was having from within. And I just felt like cutting out all animal products would allow me to heal faster and more efficiently. That's just my personal choice. I understand that's not for everyone, but I feel that it is something that has helped me. With that being said, I was eating a lot of nut and seed products, but I became sensitive to them. As much as a plant-based diet helped me, I also had to do an elimination diet because I had to figure out why I was still having swollen lips and a rash all over my face. I personally feel that food is a big trigger for a lot of people with skin issues, whether it is gluten, nuts or seeds, or even dairy products or eggs. Everyone has things that they're sensitive to that they may not even realize until they cut them out. My fiance Mario is actually the one who told me he had a feeling I was allergic to nuts. And I was kind of in denial because I just never had any food allergies before. I was very reluctant to believe him for the longest time, but eventually I decided to cut out nuts for a week. And one day we ordered Thai food. We got some pineapple fried rice, and I forgot to say no cashews. I was obviously still gonna eat the food because I was stubborn, and immediately after, my lips became hot and itchy and they started to swell, and that was confirmation for me that I indeed had a nut allergy. Eventually I realized that I was not only sensitive to cashews but also peanuts, sesame seeds, sesame oil, sunflower seeds. I just basically stay away from all of that. So as much as a plant-based diet has helped me, I've also had to make additional changes, such as cutting out nuts and seeds and just taking a lot of precautions when it comes to eating out, and just learning to substitute with other things that have similar nutrients. The third change that I've made when I developed chronic urticaria or when I'm having a flare-up is to consume a lot of anti-inflammatory liquids along with intermittent fasting. When I'm having a serious flare-up, let's say I consume something through cross-contamination, or I put some kind of product in my hair or on my skin that's giving me a really bad reaction. Something that I noticed is that when I eat, if my lips are already swollen, my flare-up will get more intense every time I eat. What I started doing to help myself heal faster is I will make homemade ginger turmeric tea, and I basically make a big pot of it. I put it into a large pitcher and I will drink it all throughout the day. I also kind of skip breakfast if I can, and if I'm eating something, I don't make it heavy at all. My first meal will probably be around 11 or 12, and it's going to be something light like fruit or a smoothie. Other liquids that I feel are anti-inflammatory and that really help me kind of clear out whatever is going on internally with my system are Harmless Harvest coconut water and homemade smoothies and lemon or lime water. So I basically interchange the liquids that I'm having throughout the day, and I delay my first meal, and then I usually don't eat something larger until dinner time. And I do try to ensure that whatever I am eating is very light and easy for my body to digest. That way it's not working, you know, super hard at combating a flare-up that I'm dealing with and digesting my food. It just kind of makes the whole process a lot smoother, and I feel that I heal a lot faster when I do this. The fourth change that I made whenever I'm having a flare-up in particular is to not do any rigorous exercise. So I only do low impact exercises or stretches if I'm going through a really bad flare-up, because it's something else that helps me keep my adrenals very low, and I feel that it allows me to get a little stretch, get my body moving, get my blood pumping a bit, but it doesn't bring me to a level where, you know, everything inside is just going, and it still allows me to stay in a state of rest and a state of just feeling really calm. It's also really important to get a little bit of a stretch or something in, because when I am having a flare-up, I do rest a lot. I take a lot of naps and just take it really easy. And sometimes, you know, you just feel like you need to kind of get those kinks out. The fifth change that I've made is to use very minimal skin or hair products whenever I'm having a flare-up, along with doing patch testing for any new products that I'm trying out. I do gravitate towards more natural and holistic things in general in my life. And with that being said, I do like to use vegan and cruelty-free beauty products whenever possible. But something that I discovered with my allergies is that a lot of more natural and holistic beauty products contain things that I'm allergic to. For example, certain skin or makeup products will contain almond oil or sesame oil. There's just like all these different nuts and seeds that are incorporated into clean beauty, which ideally is good for your skin if you don't have allergies to them. But if you develop an allergy or grow up with an allergy, it's something that can give you a really bad rash or hives. That's something that I've had to really learn with trial and error, especially being in the influencer world. I get a lot of new products in and I get excited to try things out. But I've had to learn the hard way that I can't just put it all over my face. I have to patch test on certain areas, and for me, my reactions are a bit delayed, so it actually can take a few days for me to develop any reaction, like a rash or a hive. So it's kind of a long process, and I have to really space out whenever I'm trying new beauty products. Similarly, with hair products, I'm also sensitive to chemicals. I have to be really careful because certain hair products can give me really bad headaches. I've had products that I put in my hair that give me a rash all over my face that will last from, you know, 1, 2 to 3 weeks. And I've had situations where it's sometimes an old product that I use or an old brand I used to use that I can't use anymore. And I go into it confidently thinking like, you know, no big deal, I've used this in the past. And then I'm dealing with a messed up face for the weeks to come. Patch testing is something that has saved me a lot from preventing flare-ups from happening. I do put it directly on my skin, usually my neck first. I'll wait a couple days and I'll kind of do it a few times to see if I get itchy or if I get a rash or anything. And then I will slowly put, you know, products on my forehead or on my chin just to kind of see how my face reacts, because the skin on your face is a bit thinner than the rest of your body. And with hair, I try to just use a little bit at once to see if I have any adverse reactions. The last thing on today's list is that when I am having a flare-up, I do try to be very careful with sun exposure. I don't really like to wear excessive products when I'm having a flare-up. I typically only use Aquaphor for any irritated areas of my face, because even my normal like moisturizer and things like that can kind of irritate my skin when I'm having a flare up, no matter if it's safe for sensitive skin or things like that. So I just typically stay away from everything except for Aquaphor. I also wear a sun cap or like a big brim hat to just protect my face from the sun, because I feel that whenever I'm having, you know, a rash or hives on my face or very swollen lips, if I'm exposed to too much sun, it can actually make it a bit worse. So it's something small, but I feel like stuff like that makes a big difference, especially in the warmer times of the year. Those are the top things that I've changed in the last few years since developing chronic urticaria. These are a lot of the key factors that help me keep my flare-ups at bay and help me heal faster when I'm going through a really bad flare-up. And I hope you find these tips useful and that you're able to kind of see if any of them work for you as well. I'm not a doctor or a medical provider in any sense. This is just my personal experience. So be sure to check in with your doctor if you decide to make any big lifestyle changes. But aside from that, this is an ongoing series, so be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And my next video will likely be chronic urticaria during pregnancy. I'm almost 7 months pregnant, and I'm going to be sharing some details on how chronic urticaria has been during my pregnancy. So that's all for today, and I will talk to you again soon.